from Seoul, Korea, and welcome to day one of the Final Four here at the GSL Codes. I'm Tasteless, and with me is Artosis. How you doing today, man?
Well, Tasteless, we're in the round of 4. How do you think I'm doing? Pretty dummy. No, man, this is really, really exciting. We've changed the format slightly. It's going to be best of 7s.
Right.
Which means we are going to see some epic matches here. Look at this. Symbol against Curious and Tasia against Roro. Of course, one each day, today and tomorrow.
Yeah. So unlike what we've done prior, we're going to have it set up so that it is split into 2 days. So you are only going to see Symbol against Curious today and Epic CBZ. Who do you think is going to win with that?
This is so hard to actually predict for me. I think Curious should win, but my gut is telling me Symbol's going to take it.
I think Symbol's going to take this. I think it's going to go to the 7th game.
Yeah, looking at it stylistically, I feel like Curious has the style that beats Symbol, but I don't know. I feel like Symbol is going to win.
Well, you know, it's funny because we've been waiting for so long for Symbol to be in the finals. I mean, we've been talking to this guy for about a year now, hyping him up, saying, I mean, eventually he's going to win a Code S. Maybe it's going to be it. Or Curious could end up in the finals, and that's something I think nobody really anticipated.
Yeah. He's been a top Zerg for a long time, but he's never made it this far in GSL. Like, he always goes to Code A in the up and down matches. That is his place. He's the Sisyphus Zerg, but he got the boulder to the top and then carved it into a statue of himself.
There you go. There you go. Did not go rolling back down again. This is also the final Wings of Liberty tournament, so we're about to crown the last champion of Wings.
That's right. And it's one of these 4 players.
Yeah.
I tell you, all of them
3 Zergs are a Terran.
All of them are pretty worthwhile players, man. So, I mean, anyone that wins this is not a bad champion to have at the end. This isn't going to be one that's forgotten.
No, absolutely not. And, of course, Heart of the Swarm is coming out really soon. And then from there, we switch right over.
Yeah.
So that's why this is the last Wings of Liberty tournament. And Heart of the Swarm is sick. The beta's going to be, I think, going down soon.
Really soon,
Really soon. It's too bad I wanted to play
more. I'm not sure exactly what time, but it's sad. I'm really sad about that. I've been spending a lot of time playing that beta, man.
It's been a lot of fun, and it's going to be really cool for even for us as casters, but I guess for the pro gamers and the viewers as well. Because Heart of the Swarm is so different, it's like a completely different game. Which means we're going to see lots of new strategies. We got new maps coming out. There's new features on the Heart of the Swarm maps.
Yeah.
And speaking of maps, let's take a look at our maps here today.
Let's take a look at it
in a second. But as you can see here, this is a little bit more details here about our 2 players.
Yeah, 2 of the highest ranked Zergs in GSL, of course.
Yep.
As you see, Curious, of course, came right through Code A once again, as he always does do. They both have a ton of games played. And, yeah, man, I mean, they have gone through such badasses to get here.
You know, it's funny because everybody else that you guys know from GSL that was knocked out of Code S right now is playing Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. These are the last good players that are really grinding it out.
This is it. Them and their practice partners are the only people at the pro level really still playing.
And these guys, they want it. But think about this. StarCraft 2 came out a little bit over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
These guys have been playing, just like I think most of us, since the beta. And finally, they are only 1 series away from being in the finals. They want this.
No, this is so close, man. This is insanity. Well, let's take a look at the map lineup. Of course, it is ZVZ, so this isn't the most impactful thing, but anyways, it's Belshir Vestige, Icarus, Whirlwind, Daybreak, Planet S, Aklon Flats, and Cloud Kingdom. And just stylistically speaking, I think that Symbol's maps are the maps at the back, and the overall in the front are Curious's maps, because Symbol likes to play a more mineral-heavy style. He likes to hit roach timings, and you're going to want some of these smaller maps, whereas some of the bigger kind of crazy maps like Belshir, Icarus, Whirlwind, those are going to be ones where I feel like Curious with his more speedling intensive style, those are going to be ones that are good for him. So Symbol's going to have to take one of these first 3 maps for sure. He cannot do it otherwise.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. As you can see, here is their history right now against other Zergs. And, wow, Curious has been doing really well for himself.
He has. He's lost to Lucky, Sniper, and Anyang. Anyang, that goes way, way back, so we'll just kind of not look at that one as much. But of course, Symbol has been around recently a lot more. And he has quite a few losses, but look at who he lost to. Leenock, Life, DRG, Lucira, and Life again. Those are things you can't be too sad about, right?
No, I mean, he's basically been facing off against harder Zerg opponents.
Yeah, he has been.
So we'll see, how this pans out here. But I am amped, man. I can't wait to see this unfold right now. I'm also curious about tomorrow's matches. I'm really hoping Taja wins. I think it'd be great to have a TDZ finals.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic.
The classic StarCraft matchup.
It is the classic StarCraft matchup. Good way to put it.
And it looks like we're almost ready to get this going. Guys, spread the word. Tell your friends to tune in. This is going to be one of the last major Wings of Liberty games ever.
That's right.
Everybody switches over.
No, seriously.
In case you're wondering, there's not going to be some Wings League going on while Heart of the Swarm's out.
No. And in fact, Heart of the Swarm is going to be a better game too, so we should all be happy about that.
Yeah. We're upgrading yet again. All right, remember, the winner of this series goes on to the finals here. Symbol against Curious in the GSL Code S.
2013 타시스 GSL 시즌 1. Welcome to GSL Best Vested SC.
And we are ready.
That was quite the intro.
That was pretty epic.
This was Steps of War. We could have Zerglings to someone's base already.
In the bottom right, we've got our first Zerg player. You would say he should get in the finals for a while now. Let's see if he can do it this time. He is.
And I tell you what, there's nothing like joining a new team, as Symbol has in Azubu, and immediately giving a result this good.
No kidding. Meanwhile, in the upper left, I don't think anybody expected him to get to the Final Four, and I think we're going to be even more shocked if he makes it to the finals. Can he do it? He is.
Starting Curious.
A big deal for Curious as well, to be honest, because, we did have a couple great players leave StarTale recently in Parting and Squirtle. So for him to step up and fill those shoes so well by getting the top 4 here, that is solid as well, Tasteless.
Yeah, absolutely is.
A couple happy guys we got here, I'd say.
But, people don't always remember who's in the Final Four, but they do remember finalists.
Yeah, that is true.
So there's a lot on the line right now.
Well, I tell you, StarTale's known for getting those second places, so
yeah,
they have so many of those. If Curious does win, he could fulfill that once again.
That's true.
Life did finally break them out of that curse.
But yeah, historically they have been getting lots of seconds here.
Yeah. Well, these are two builds that we see so often match up against each other. Pool into Hatch and Hatch into Pool. And we shouldn't be too surprised by what we see here by either player. One thing I do want to, because they're going to hit the same spot basically. They are actually going to end up at almost the exact same spot in a couple minutes.
Yeah. They start out, basically guys, they start out with slightly different builds, but it ends up at the same spot.
Yeah. It's just different forks in the road, but all roads lead to Rome, Tasteless.
They do?
Not anymore.
No, it's not anymore, man.
Well, this day and age we can liken to Heart of the Swarm, where, no longer, but this is Wings Liberty, this is ancient days, and yes, at this point, like all these
StarCraft BC here.
Yeah. But I do want to say that Symbol is getting quick speed here after his Hatch first, which of course is smart, but it's not exactly the style we've seen him do so much, which is good, because the style we see him do a lot is not as good on this map.
Yeah. Now, the Lings at this point in time are usually just used to scout, since obviously the Queens can drive out scouting overlords. And he's going to see that everything is pretty much normal. By the way, it's actually filling up pretty well in our studio right now.
Yeah, man, this is the round of 4. People got to come watch this stuff.
And by the way, guys, and I'm going to be saying this a lot over today and then tomorrow in our finals, we are moving studios.
That's right. So
if you're somebody who's been a regular and you're just tuning in right now, after tomorrow, that's going to be our last day in the studio.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy, man.
It is. It really is.
Speaking of tomorrow, for tomorrow's awesome Round of 4 match, if you live in Seoul or in Korea at all, there's going to be a sick bar craft at Yaletown and Shincheon.
Oh, yeah. Check that out.
Yeah, there's a thread about it on Team Liquid if you want to check that out under the bar crafts category.
They actually have the best burgers in Korea.
They have the best nachos as well.
Yeah, literally.
Kid you not.
Literally the best burgers. It's actually, I mean, there's some good burgers out there, but this place easily has the best. So that's a good place.
And
go down there, drink beer and stuff.
Seriously, it's a great bar, and in fact, Tasteless and Artosis have been known to stop by there from time to time.
They have.
Although tomorrow night we will be casting.
Yeah, we'll be casting, so I don't expect anything, but we have made appearances there.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out. And cheers to anybody else who's got bar crafts out there going on.
Indeed. All right, well, Symbol is getting his lair reasonably quickly here, and bam, there goes Curious's as well. So both going up quite quickly. We'll have to see how quickly, though, that Symbol wants to take his additional gases, because as it looks right now, yeah, Symbol's going to be going for, most likely here, some sort of roach timing. But Curious, he's pretty transparent. This really super looks like Mutas.
Yeah.
Super duper looks like Mutas. I mean, he's got all his gases being taken. He's got the Baneling nest up. That's my prediction there. And in fact, Symbol does start his +1 ranged attack. So it looks like we're going to see the very common and normal, Roach Infester going up against Mutalisk play.
All right. We got the Roach Warren on the way right now, and some Lings are spilling down now, headed towards Symbol's base. I don't think it's going to do too much damage to Symbol. He seems to be pretty well positioned.
Yeah. When you go for Mutas, you actually are supposed to make a big clutch of Lings, while the Spire is building, because you kind of already have your drones. You have to make sure you have enough units to live through anything while your Mutas are being made. So kind of safe, kind of intelligent by Curious, and allows him to put on a little bit of faux pressure here.
Yeah. Oh! That's not supposed to happen.
No, that's not. That's a pretty big mistake there by Curious, immediately getting some more Lings.
I didn't actually think anything was going to happen earlier.
It should.
I was a little bit surprised when that actually connected. All right, so he's going to be able to drive him back.
Yeah.
Continue to move up here. And there is the Hydralisk Den here for Symbol.
That's right. He's focusing more on upgrades for his actual ground units as opposed to any infestors. The one thing you really have to look out for is, hold on though, we actually have him attacking this hatch. Okay, that's
he also denied, Curious did deny the hatchery at the for the third base. He did kill that drone, so that is one thing he's doing.
Now, we're going to have to see. It looks like Symbol wants to take a third base, but it's going to be hard for him to have his Hydras and Roaches spread correctly. And the thing is, you can't really walk across the map with that army, because once the Hydras die, everything dies to the Mutas. So you have to be super careful about that. They rally so slowly in Wings of Liberty. We could see something, especially on this map, like a Nidus.
All right, he's hitting the hatch hard, and okay, canceled at the last freaking millisecond there. That was close. And now Lynx are going to spill up into the main right now.
And in
this
fact,
could do a lot of
Hydras
damage.
is a big deal. He does not want to lose these.
These Hydras are very expensive.
Yeah, he killed three of the Hydras.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty well done. And now Symbol's going to have to throw up some spores, but map control completely goes to Curious. There's not going to be anything out on this map that's Symbol's, unless he's attacking, like we're seeing here.
If you notice, Symbol still has not managed to take his third base, so he's really investing on 2 bases here. Now, he killed off some of those Hydras, so the question is this enough Hydras now moving forward here?
Yeah, he's starting to target them down a little bit scared there, but actually with his Lings coming up, this is going to be easy, and he's going to be able to erase every Roach now. But the Roaches do have speed. They do have +1/+1 as well, and we do have Roaches being made by Curious, but will he have enough to actually hold this base?
Yeah, even if he loses the Roaches, as long as that base is taken out, he's pretty much in good shape. It's getting pretty low here, and I think there's really no way that he can save this hatchery right now. Nice transfusion, but again, it's just not enough.
That's right.
He manages to escape.
Yeah, not surprised he's able to pick it off, but those Mutas can follow suit and kill off most of the Roaches. So, you know what, Curious, though he killed the hatch, or rather, though he lost the hatch, he may be able to go down and deny his opponent's hatch as well.
Yeah.
That's a possibility here.
Certainly is. All right, the Mutas continuing to chase these Roaches down here. And once again, Hydra's going up here to help defend. Curious has been a little bit sloppy with how many Mutas he's lost, but I would not say he's necessarily doing a bad job here. And once again, this is going to make it hard for another attack over there to the third. It looks like Symbol continuing to head northbound over here towards that third base. The Mutas now turning around. They were hoping initially to yank back those Hydras, and now they're going up into the main base. And this could do a lot of damage. There's a lot of valuable tech and a lot of drones up here.
That's right. A lot of units going over towards that third once again as well. Some really nice multitasking here by Symbol, but Curious has a lot of units. Can he hold this off? If he crushes all this, then he'll be in really good shape.
All right, a lot of Hydras are coming up here now. And that's so many Hydras. I don't know if the Mutas can deal with it. They're going to have Lings and Roaches here together. And now at the last second, Symbol actually turns around and heads back home.
Probably a good choice here. Just got to be careful, though, because these units are coming for him. Roach is coming up from Curious right now, starting to actually cut through this army. And interestingly enough, it looks like Curious is going to be able to kill this all off.
He might be able to just take this game. This has been a lot of consecutive errors right now.
You know, this
from Symbol.
This was an interesting play by Symbol because he was already getting 1-1, but he actually canceled to get more units for that timing attack. And then he kept on actually a little bit too much pressure, and suddenly Curious has found himself in a big lead.
All right, the infestation pit is on the way. Roaches are now gathering up here. I think all Curious has to do really is just hit this third base. It's only just now getting a sizable number of drones. We have a bunch of Roaches now headed down there, which will meet with the Hydras and Roaches here of Symbol, but I don't... Oh, nice. Even a little contaminate there on that hatchery at the third base. Now, you want the Hydras in the back because they actually die much quicker than the Roaches. The Roaches are there to take the damage. The Hydras are there to deal it. So he did not have that in a good position. But there are, he is being hit from two sides right now. And the, I was going to say with the Spine Crawler burrowing down there and more Roaches coming out. A little bit of an overextension there from Curious. I'd say probably the first big mistake we've seen Curious make so far.
Yeah, you know, that's what happens when you're so far away from your opponent. When you attack like that and stay in the battle for a long time, his 3 hatches that are very close and connected mostly by creep are going to overwhelm your army, even if you have more supply overall. So, Curious losing quite a bit, but he's going into Infestors first.
Yeah. You know, that's also, just to kind of echo what you were saying back there, Artosis, it's also the fundamental problem of when you attack and you're too even, if you're attacking them and you're in their base, they just reinforce faster. There's no way. And eventually that snowballs and you get driven back. So that's what we saw happen right there.
Well, right now, with those Infestors on the way, I'm getting a little bit nervous for Symbol. Symbol's focusing so heavily on Roaches, and this is something that he does. He loves to just skip Infestor tech and just focus on so many Roaches that your fungals don't matter, and that looks like it's what he's going for here.
Solid defense here, really using Burrow right now to not lose that queen. And we got more and more Roaches here right now. For Symbol. Now, Symbol really invested in Roach Hydra early on where we had this tech switch now from Curious. He was going Mutas, though at this phase of the game, not actually useful anymore. So Roach Infestor is going to be key here. That means that it's going to come down to these fungals. He has to get Symbol in a position where Curious has a superior concave versus Symbol's convex, which you can then set up with the fungal. So we'll see if he does that. Nice. Contaminate, by the way, there.
Yeah, that's the second time that he's done that, actually. That's really well done. It's stalled out that +2 attack for so long, and in fact, with Symbol about to have 2-2 finishing, that's going to put him 3 upgrades ahead. And being 3 upgrades ahead will turn the tide of just about any battle.
Well, this is a point in time where, I mean, the entire game can be decided by upgrades. So, Symbol's definitely got a good game plan right now. It does look like Curious is going to take his 4th base now, realizing that there's no way he can attack into Symbol.
Yeah, Symbol is maxed out, and in fact, Symbol still not going for an infestation pit. You know, he's just staying completely on units, and what this says is that Curious has to stay on the defensive. He needs to make these fungals count, make his Infestors gain value for him throughout these battles, because Symbol's actual army is bigger.
All right, he's grouping up over here on the high ground, and you can see that Symbol's not going to engage at that point. He will attack over here, though, at the 4th. He's trying to get Curious to get out of position on that high ground.
And look at that.
They're sending some more into the main right now. He can take out these Hydras as well.
So well done, but a little bit of mistake there. Beautiful fungal on those Hydras. If he can fungal those Hydras to death, that would be gigantic.
Symbol continuing to press forward right now. We have a few more infested Terrans coming up here, which will die upon birth.
Oh, Symbol.
And it looks like Symbol actually is just hitting in too many locations, and things might suddenly fall apart for Curious.
Yeah, he's got to be careful, though. We actually have more units coming in from the side for Curious. Symbol's army is so hurt already from those fungal growths, and it's starting to look like Curious should be able to just barely hold that.
Yeah, it looks like actually the upgrades here played a huge role too, though. Symbol did a lot of damage there, but yeah, Curious is just in too much good shape during that attack. I have to say though, do me a favor. Yeah, okay, thank you. Legend beat me to it. All right, so 33 workers killed here.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Compared
46
to
to 65. So Symbol right now going to just continue his macro, continue to rally it up across the map, and we'll see if that ends up working out for him. Nice burrows going down by Curious. But is that going to be enough, saving those infestors? There's just so many units for Symbol and a much better economy as well.
Yeah, he has just done a fantastic job, and I want to highlight those roaches that were going in multiple directions there, where Curious just couldn't defend, and he's actually going to just try to snipe the fourth and probably book it out of there.
And that's a great move, man, because that is one less production facility, that's one less mining location here for him. Now, Symbol, I mean, the tempo is so heavily on his side. He's fighting against someone that, in fact, he's killed off every infestor. So everything, all the units that Curious sacrificed to get those infestors, I mean, this is going so heavily in the favor of Symbol now.
Yeah. Symbol's really turned this around. It looks like Curious is going to come out now, but again, a concave versus a convex, no, that works out here. Curious is being hit so hard, and he can't even really run away.
No.
I don't even know if he's still. That's about it. I mean, that just looked like straight up giving up. Okay, GG.
Wow. Super well done.
Sick.
Okay, well, I actually really feel like Symbol's going to win now.
Yeah.
Because
he was really behind at the start of that game. I mean, he was. Well, he was having a very tough time.
This is what he likes to do. He likes to just make a ton of units, be on layer tech. He skips spellcasters, he skips mutas, and he attacks in the right locations with the right amounts of units so that you just can't hold it off because you've been skimping to get things like infestors. And the fact that he made that work so beautifully there when Curious had such a nice opening, I'm feeling like this is a ridiculously uphill battle for Curious.
Well, you know, Curious did play incredibly well in that game.
He did.
He was doing a good job of cutting off the Hydras and reducing that. I like the moment, though, when you could see Symbol had his whole army outside Curious's base, sends two separate groups of roaches, one to the fourth base of Curious, one to the main base of Curious. And the problem is that because Zerg is so positionally oriented, when major battles occur, he had to split up some of his army. That allowed that main big army that could not have engaged initially to actually get in there and do the damage he needed to do.
So true. Well, Icarus is our map, Tasteless. The countdown has begun. A crazy map indeed. One that Curious, I think, knows right now that he needs to win.
We're here in Seoul, Korea, where the best StarCraft 2 players in the world reside to compete in the most competitive esports show of all time, the GSL Code S.
2013 타식스 GSL 시즌 1. Welcome to GSL Icarus.